6 p.m. Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Abdul Rafiz Suhail. First, the headlines. On International Women's Day, President and Prime Minister have called for greater role of women in all spheres of life to ensure prosperity of the country. Foreign Minister says women, peace and security strategy will remain unfulfilled as long as plight of women under foreign occupation is not addressed vigorously. Economic Coordination Committee of the Cabinet has approved wheat procurement target of 1.8 million metric tons by PASCO. 6 terrorists were killed during an intelligence-based operation by security forces in North Waziristan district today. In Ukraine, the allied militia of Russian forces have captured eastern part of Bakhmut city. And the 25th match of Pakistan Super League will be played between Peshawar Zalmi and Quetta Gladiators at Rawalpindi today. And now the news in detail. President Dr. Arif Alvi and Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif have called for a greater role of women in economic, political and social spheres to utilize their potential for ensuring further progress and prosperity of Pakistan. In their separate messages on the occasion of International Women's Day today, they called for increasing participation of women in all walks of life. The President, in his message, said Pakistan needs to increase women's access to technology and digital literacy programs, especially in far-flung areas. He said besides providing them access to internet services, laptops and other digital technologies, we should encourage more women to pursue careers in STEM fields. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif in his message said International Women's Day is the day to recognize the key role of women in society and their contribution to the evolution of human civilization. He said history witnesses that the development of human society is not possible without constructive role of women. The Prime Minister said our religion, Islam, granted equal rights to women 1400 years ago. Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari says women, peace and security strategy will remain unfulfilled as long as plight of women under foreign occupation is not addressed vigorously. He was speaking at the UN Security Council open debate on women, peace and security in New York today. The Foreign Minister underscored the need for establishing a monitoring mechanism for crimes committed against women and girls in territories under foreign occupation, including Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. He said the most egregious atrocities against women occur in situations of foreign occupation and suppression of the right to self-determination. The Foreign Minister also highlighted the important role of women peacekeepers. He said the larger presence and role of women peacekeepers has visibly contributed to preventing and containing conflicts. He said they also contributed in containing violence and crimes against women. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari said the right of women and girls to access all levels of education and work is a fundamental right in keeping with Islamic injunctions. In its capacity as chair of the OIC Council of Ministers, Pakistan is hosting a one-day conference on women in Islam, understanding the rights and identity of women in the Islamic world in New York today. The conference is being held at the UN headquarters on the sidelines of the 67th session of the United Nations Commission on Status of Women. It is initiative of Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari as an effort to bridge gap between perception and reality on status of women in Islam. Economic Coordination Committee of the Cabinet has approved wheat procurement target of 1.8 million metric tons at the rate of 3,900 rupees per 40 kilogram by Pakistan Agriculture Storage and Services Corporation. The approval was given at a meeting of the committee in Islamabad today, with Minister for Finance and Revenue Muhammad Ishaq Dar in the chair. The ECC directed the Ministry of National Food Security and Research to form a committee to review the proper wheat usage and wheat storage mechanism in the country and present its findings to the ECC in 15 days. This news bulletin comes to you from Radio Pakistan. Minister for Information and Broadcasting Maryam Aurangzeb says PTI chairman Imran Khan's Save the Judiciary movement is a slap on the face of justice system of the country. In a tweet, she said Imran Khan's campaign is not for saving the judiciary but an effort to avoid appearing in courts and escape arrest. Maryam Aurangzeb said instead of hiding behind the Save the Judiciary campaign, Imran Khan should face the law of the land. 6 terrorists were killed during an intelligence-based operation by security forces in Data Khel area of North Waziristan district today. According to an ISPR news release, the killed terrorists remained actively involved in terrorist activities against security forces and civilians. Weapons and ammunition were also recovered from the killed terrorist during the operation. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa government has urged masses to cooperate with security forces and law enforcement agencies in countering terrorism and crimes by keeping an eye on suspicious activities and persons around them. A public message issued by the Provincial Information Department in Peshawar today asked the people to dial helpline 1125 or mobile numbers 0325 1855 653 and 0336 181 6106 in case of any suspicious activities. As world is observing the International Women's Day today, the miseries and victimization of the Kashmiri women at the hands of Indian Forces personnel continue unabated in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. According to a report released by the research section of Kashmir Media Service on the occasion of the Women's Day, thousands of women are among 96,181 Kashmiris who have been martyred by Indian troops since January 1989. As many as 682 women have been martyred since January 2001. The report pointed out that 22,958 women have been rendered widowed and 11,256 molested by the Indian troops. APHC leaders Ghulam Ahmad Gulzar, Zamruda Habib, Yasmin Raja, Farida Behenji and Chaudhry Shaheen Iqbal in their separate statements issued in Srinagar urged the United Nations and other relevant global institutions to intervene on urgent basis for mitigation of the suffering of Kashmiri women. In Geneva, the United Nations Human Rights Chief, during his address at the 52nd session of the Human Rights Council, said that in recent months he discussed the worrying human rights situation in Kashmir with India. Volker Turk's comments have unnerved Narendra Modi-led Hindutva government in India, prompting the country's permanent representative to the UN, Ambassador Indramani Pandey, to say that the reference to the human rights situation in Kashmir was unwarranted. The allied militia of Russian forces have captured eastern part of Bakhmut city in Ukraine. The head of Russia's Wagner mercenary group said today his forces have taken full control of the eastern part of the city. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu said the seizure of Bakhmut would allow Moscow's forces to mount further offensive operations deeper inside Ukraine. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres will meet Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky in Kyiv today. Spokesman for UN chief said in a statement that Guterres and Zelensky will discuss the continuation of the Black Sea Grain Initiative in all its aspects. On 22nd July 2022, Russia and Ukraine had signed a document on grain and fertilizer exports from Ukraine and Russia to ensure supplies to global markets. The United Nations has repeatedly called for the deal's further extension. In Bangladesh, at least 16 people were killed and many others injured in a massive explosion in Dhaka. The blast occurred at a 7th-floor building which houses several stores for sanitary items. And now cricket. The 25th match of Pakistan Super League will be played between Peshawar Zalmi and Quetta Gladiators at Rawalpindi today. The match will start at 7 p.m. Pakistan Standard Time. And now the weather report. Mainly dry weather expected in most parts of the country during the next 12 hours. And now the headlines once again. On International Women's Day, President and Prime Minister have called for greater role of women in all spheres of life to ensure prosperity of the country. Foreign Minister says women, peace and security strategy will remain unfulfilled so long as plight of women under foreign occupation is not addressed vigorously. Economic Coordination Committee of the Cabinet has approved wheat procurement target of 1.8 million metric tons by PASCO. 6 terrorists were killed during an intelligence-based operation by security forces in North Waziristan district today. In Ukraine, the allied militia of Russian forces have captured eastern part of Bakhmut city. And the 25th match of Pakistan Super League will be played between Peshawar Zalmi and Quetta Gladiators at Rawalpindi today. And that is all for now. For more news and analyses, log on to our website radio.gov.pk and also watch live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.